Hey, welcome to my channel. I'm David. This week's video, I want to talk a little bit about my sandblasting cabinet. I'm going to bring you in closer, show you my setup, and then I've got a lot of maintenance to do on it, so I thought I'll go ahead and film it. Maybe I can help somebody who's thinking about getting one of these or is maintaining theirs. Not an expert, but I'll just show you what I do. All right, hang on and I'll bring you in close. Okay, this is a Central Pneumatic, bought it at Harbor Freight. I used to have a benchtop unit, but it just wasn't big enough for me. So this is my cabinet. It's got the side door. The light that comes with it inside is terrible. I have found the best way for me to light mine is with this just Ryobi work light. I just lay it right up on here and it gives me tons of light. That's much easier. It's got a little storage shelf. The hopper down here has got a door on the bottom. I'll clean that out in a minute and show you. And then I'll show you the power over here. All right, this is my compressor, which really is one of the most important things when you talk about sandblasting cabinets. I upgraded from my old compressor 2 years ago to this one. It's an Ingersoll Rand model SS4, 60 gallon, 230 volt, single phase, but it's capable of 14 cubic feet a minute, which is really what you're looking for with a sandblaster. It's not about pressure, it's about the CFM. And my old compressor just would not run a sandblasting cabinet this big. It's been a huge difference. There is something wrong with my compressor. The automatic switch that turns it on when the pressure drops is not working. I've got to get a call into them and get that fixed. And then you can see I've got my shop air running over to my filter, dryer, my regulator, and that runs up through my shop and over to my air hose as well. But I've got a shut-off valve for the cabinet. And down here I've got a dedicated shop vac right here that works with the sandblaster, and I run everything through a dust deputy first, and I'll empty those out and show you. Have not emptied those in quite a few months, and you can see that the whole area is just filthy. I don't have the doors on this side of my shop sealed very good, so I get some leaves from when I blow leaves and stuff, and just keep some of my extra supplies underneath there. But hang tight, I'm going to show you what it looks like looking through the window. All right, this is what it looks like looking through the window with no light. And I'll turn the light on and you can see it does a pretty good job of lighting it up. But my window right now is filthy. And that's really the big part of my maintenance is what I'm going to do, and I'll show you how I take care of that. All right, this is the inside of the cabinet. You can see it's pretty roomy in there, and this door is pretty good size. So I can get some decent sized stuff in there, and you just have the air that runs in and runs to the gun, and then the pickup line that goes down into the sand at the bottom. Okay, the first thing I do when I do a cleanup is I just remove this frame so I can get the glass out of here. And this is glass, but I'll show you the protection that I have for it. All right, get these out of the way. And this is a piece of plexiglass. And I keep a couple spares around, and that'll show you just how dirty it is. Again, on my window setup, what goes to the inside of the cabinet is the plexiglass piece. So I'm going to set that off to the side. And then I've got the glass. And the plexiglass protects this side of the glass from the sand, and then this side is protected just from things in the atmosphere. I'm going to go ahead and replace this. I haven't replaced this piece in a while. I've got some big projects coming up where I'm going to be doing a lot of sandblasting, and I want to get it clear as possible. Now, sometimes these pieces of plexiglass, you do just have to end up replacing them. But what I've done is I covered this thing, and I'll show you in a minute when I go to put it back on. you can see that most of the problem was within this thin piece of plastic I put on there. And again, I'll show you what that is in just a minute. I'm gonna hold this up and you can see it's pretty clear. It's definitely worth reusing. I don't want to spray it because I don't want to get cleaner on that, so I'm going to spray my rag and give it a quick wipe down. Now this stuff is the difference maker. So it's a patio door insulation shrink kit. And it's just very thin, clear plastic. And what I'll do is I'll cut a piece close to the size of this. And you can see it's thin. And this package right here, I probably can redo this glass 5 or 6 times, maybe more. So what I do, I like to start up here in the corner and get it pressed down, and then I stretch it as hard as I can without tearing it across here and get it pressed down on here. And then I pull it tight to this corner. Then I'll pull it tight over here. And pull it tight in the middle. And just kind of work my way around. Then all you have to do is get your heat gun or hair dryer and heat this up, and it's going to shrink into place. There you go. It's not as clear as pure glass or plexiglass, but it's pretty good, and I tell you, it's amazing how well this little thin plastic protects the real glass. Again, this is what it looked like before. That's just etching from the sand, and then now. Let's see where I want this. So now with this piece on the bottom, this piece on the top, I've got my window sandwich, and it's pretty clear. It's not perfect, but it's clear enough to be able to see through and hopefully film through. Down here under the cabinet, just some of my accessories. I use this to put small parts in. Shake them around in there when you're blasting. Got extra guns and nozzles in here. This is some walnut shells. This is my new stand. I keep a cable tie on this just so I don't bang it with a box or something and knock the hopper open. So from up top, I'm going to knock as much of this media down into the hopper hole as I can, because it's full of contaminants and everything. Something else I do while I'm doing my maintenance is I always check my nozzles. So this is a number 5 nozzle, and look how odd shaped the hole is. So these things do wear out. All right, the next thing I'm gonna do is actually go ahead and get some media back in here. It's just easier while this glass is out. All right, now I'm gonna get the glass put back in, then I'll clean up everything else. I'll try and put these in together sandwiched already, because if I put this in first, I take a chance of scratching that or tearing up the plastic film I put on there. There we go. Okay, the next thing I want to do is get my dust devil disconnected. and I'll show you what's inside that bucket. And then the shop vac, I clean this out every 2 to 3 months, just depending on how much I'm sandblasting. The shop vac, I actually haven't emptied and probably, or opened it in well over a year, so be curious to see what's inside there. So you can see, let me move the camera. When this thing is pulling the air off, it's running everything through this, I don't know, what do you call that, like a vortex? And it captures almost all of the dust. And you can see this bucket, it's probably got 5 pounds of media in it. And it's the real fine stuff. And I'm sure it's full of paint and rust and all kinds of other stuff. Again, like I said, I don't think I've opened the shop vac probably a good year. See, the filter's pretty dirty, but look what's inside here. It's almost nothing. So what this dust devil does is it saves that filter. I mean, like I said, it's been almost a year. Yeah, the filter's dirty. Actually, I might just go ahead and replace it because it's pretty full now. I probably should have cleaned it out sooner, but if I didn't have this dust devil, I'd have to clean this thing out every time I use the sandblaster. Well, the blast cabinet's all done. I mentioned earlier in the video that my pressure switch on my compressor wasn't operating correctly, and it's been like that for, gosh, probably a year. I've just been reaching over, flipping it on and off as I need to, but it's a real pain when I'm doing stuff outside. So I called Ingersoll Rand, and I tell you what, they were super nice. Got the guy on the phone after 2 rings, told him my problem, and he said, yeah, no problem, gave him the serial number, and he sent me a brand new pressure switch, no charge. So what a great company. There's still a few of them left out there. So I'm going to see if I can't get this thing on. And looks like I've got a ground wire all the way down on the bottom, which is going to be tough to get back on. Okay, the motor wiring loose. Now I just need to disconnect the air supply. Ooh, I thought all the air was out. Not sure what this is on the air line, but I'm gonna give it a quick clean with some steel wool, see if I can get this off of there. Yeah, I'll just get the new one installed. I'll flip the switch and see what happens. All right, the compressor charged fine to 130 psi, which is where it's supposed to. So now I'm going to relieve some air, and I think it kicks on around 90, but we'll see. I'm so happy to have my compressor back working the way it's supposed to. So just did a full maintenance on everything. The blast cabinet, got the compressor back working again. We checked the oil, we checked the air filter. I've checked my filter and my dryer on my regulator line. So yeah, I'm good to go. There's a glare coming off the ambient light, but when I turn this light on, you can see really well down inside the cabinet now. And this should last for quite a while, just depending on how much sandblasting I'm doing. Well, I'm done, got everything cleaned up, got it back in good working order, and yeah, it's just every now and then you just got to take the time and maintain the things in your shop. This was long overdue. Hope you enjoyed the video, and if you got a sandblaster and you were able to pick up a little tip or trick, great. If you have another tip or trick you'd like to share in the comments, that'd be awesome too. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you on the next one.